G'day legends, this week at Forward of Action we've decided to take a week off to reflect and focus on the Australian bushfires. Now, no doubt, doesn't matter where in the world you live, you've heard of what's happening in Australia right now. There's bushfires absolutely decimating most of our country right now. New South Wales, Victoria, southeast Queensland, places, every single state and territory in Australia has been somewhat affected by the fires. In fact, there's over 150 fires still blazing away right as we film this right now. It's one of the most devastating natural disasters I've ever seen, and it's absolutely tragic. So many people have lost all their possessions, lost their land, and in some cases, and in a lot of cases in fact, lost their lives and lost loved ones. It's absolutely tragic, and us as four-wheel drivers, we need to do something. Graham and I were talking the other day, and the whole team at Forward of Action, we thought, how can we make a difference? As little as it might be, how can we do something though? We represent a huge part of the four-wheel drive community, if not the biggest part of the four-wheel drive community in Australia, if not the world. And we thought if we can bring everyone together, we could really make a difference. And I think that's really important in a time like this when Australia is literally burning right down to the ground. So we thought, heck, what can we do? You know, we thought about a few different things, but the best thing that we could think about is trying to raise some money and get that money into the communities that are most affected by the fires. So we've a lot of talk has gone around, where do we put this money? And we decided to donate as much money as we can with help from you guys, from the four-wheel drive industry, and that money is going to go into a charity called FRRR. Now that's the Foundation of Rural and Regional Renewal, FRRR. Now what we really like about that charity is that less than 10% of what they raise goes into running and the administration costs of the charity. We think that's quite good because a lot of other charities, you know, most of the money raised actually goes to supporting the charities, and you know, Google ads, there's all sorts of things we're finding out as we do more research. But this one here, less than 10% goes to running the charity, the rest of it goes straight into the community, which I think is really important. Also, the other fact is that they're a real grassroots style charity where all of this money goes back into the community, and they'll do things like, you know, after the fires are done and dusted, they're still with a lot of these communities putting back into them. So whether it's little things like putting school uniforms on the backs of school kids in local and affected communities, right through to building infrastructure like community halls, schools, all sorts of stuff in these local areas that have been the most affected by fire. The other thing that we really like about this charity, of course, is there's another company who is matching every dollar raised 1 for 1. So basically up to $500,000. So if you put a donation of $50 in, for instance, it's really like a $100 donation, which I think is great. And I'm really, really stoked to announce that already we've only been fundraising for the start of this week, and we've already come up with $37,700. That's very overwhelming. That's amazing. That's just to start with. And now we're asking for your help. You see, a lot of the people in the four-wheel drive industry we've contacted, and you know, a lot of people have made big donations for this great cause. And like I said, we're already up to over $37,000, and with your help, we might even get up to $50,000. So the way I'd like to put it out to you guys, every little bit helps. Now, if we can come together and if we all just put in $5, imagine the difference that would make. You know, we've got such a massive audience out there. $5, think of it like this. Next weekend, have one less schooner. It's like just buying one schooner for somebody affected by a fire. It really isn't a big expense. If you can afford it, I really urge you to come together and help us, you know, raise a stack of money for those affected by the fires. You know, I want to run through now some of the people in the industry who have already made donations and thank them personally. Now, firstly, Steve from Fuel Doctors, mate, $10,000 donation. That is absolutely massive, mate. That's huge. Brad and the team at Uniden, who put in $5,000. Mike from Clearview Accessories with $2,500. Nick and Emma from Fulcrum Suspension. Peter and Dan from iDrive. Ocam 4x4 Accessories. Peter, big thank you, mate. Tim from Mitts Alloy with another $2,000. Plus some very generous donations from Malcolm from Opus Campers, Rayleigh from Four-Wheel Drive Systems and Locker, Adam from DMW Industries, and of course Darren from Custom RV Creations. Also companies that have donated in other ways like Castrol, Bendix Brakes, Manta Exhaust, Zuzu Ute Australia, Black Duck Seat Covers. Also on top of that, I've decided to donate $2,000 on behalf of Forward Drive Action, and on top of that again, Snatch Clothing has pledged $5,000 to Wires to protect. That's basically, Wires is a charity to protect the animals that have been injured or hurt during these fires, and a lot of our wildlife has has been absolutely decimated during these fires. So Snatch Clothing, putting $5,000 there. But yeah, look, if you guys want to make a difference, if you want to help, like I said, even the smallest amount will count. In the link below, or go to snatchclothing.com.au, and that's where you can donate to make a difference. Another way that you can help, of course, is to get out there and visit these places. When the fires have gone, these towns are going to be relying on our money for at the servo, at the bakery, at the local pubs, at the local Chinese takeaway shop. You know, go to these places down the south coast of New South Wales. They're still beautiful places. There might be a bit of charcoal around, but it's up to us to go and visit these places and put money back into these economies. That's where you're going to help the most. Now, together as a four-wheel drive community, we can really make a difference if we come together on this. And just from what I've seen around Australia, the amount of people donating, I think it's just amazing, guys. And I want to say a big thank you from the whole team at Forward of Action, myself, from Graham. In fact, I want to pass you over to my mate Graham now because he's got something to say.
G'day folks. Now, look, whilst the East Coast is dominating the news right now, and for good reason too, let's not forget some other areas of Australia that are doing it really tough this fire season. I'm talking parts of Western Australia down the south there. Of course, we've got Tasmania's got its own problems as well. South Australia, let's have a look at that hidden gem of a spot, Kangaroo Island. Some of the footage coming out of there is truly heartbreaking. So we're not forgetting these small communities. And I've got a bit of a plan. And as Shauno touched on, this year I'm taking the big GU over east, and I really want to try and stop into as many of these little tiny communities as I possibly can and inject a bit of coin into those communities by, well, fueling up the big girl there, going to the pub, of course, and having a couple of beers, getting my groceries there, maybe even staying overnight in a few of the hotels on the way across. And that way I know my coins are going straight back into the community, into the heart of the community where it counts. And I'd really urge you folks, if you're doing some holidays this year, maybe have a think about trying to do the same sort of thing. Now, I've got confirmation that Four-Wheel Drive Action is going to be chipping in $2,000 towards this great cause, and now it's over to you at home. Please don't forget that all donations over $2 are tax deductible. So come on guys, let's give to a very worthy cause and let's get Australians back on their feet. Cheers.